This morning, we are welcoming Kathy Dilger. Kathy is with Erickson Living. Beth Conrad was going to join us as well, but she has been taken away on an emergency. So we get to share this time solely with Kathy. And Kathy's going to be talking to us about life in an older community. And that's not just going to assisted living, that's going and living somewhere else and having fun. And with that, I will stop my share, Kathy, and turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Barbara, for the introduction and welcome everyone. Grateful that you were able to carve out some time to join with us today. As Barbara said, I'm Kathy Dilger, the Associate Executive Director at Wind Crest. I have been on the Wind Crest team for the last 13 and a half years, and I've spent my entire career in this segment of the healthcare space, supporting seniors in their success plan, really, as they age. And so excited to be with you today. I do have a PowerPoint presentation just as a guide to walk us through. My plan is to provide an overview of Wind Crest, but along the way, if something comes up or prompts a question, would love for you to just engage, raise your hand. We can pause for a moment and allow for that sharing as well. We'll try to keep it interactive. So I'm going to share my screen, hopefully, now. So Wind Crest, my goal again was just to really provide an overview of what we offer, a little bit on our history as a company, our mission, vision, values, and some of the vibrancy that happens. So I mentioned that I've been on the team for 13 and a half years. I also drive from Broomfield to Highlands Ranch every day. And I do that gladly for two reasons at Wind Crest. One is that we have the most vibrant array of services available to residents to help them in their success plan as they continue to age with us. And the second reason is we really are an environment where we empower individuals, both on the employee and the resident side. Some of the ways that we do that with residents as individuals are moving in with us, we ask, what is it that you still want to pursue? What is important to you in your life? And if we don't have a club that individuals can engage with, that supports their interests, will help them facilitate making it happen. And so it is truly a community where residents are very engaged in their lives. As a result, we have over 200 clubs in our community that are all resident driven. And so there is never an opportunity for individuals to be bored. Really, they can engage in a variety of things in the community. A couple of clubs that I would like to highlight. If my PowerPoint advances, give me a second. There we go. That I want to highlight, FODA, or Friends of the Amphitheater. So as we have continued to build and grow as a community in Highlands Ranch, we, in our third neighborhood, have a setup of circular buildings. So we have a courtyard in the middle, and in the middle is an amphitheater, an outdoor amphitheater. You'll see some photos here that really highlight 7 different concerts that we have in the summer months that residents, their families, employees can come engage with. This one happened to be the Elton John concert last year. And so residents get out, do some dancing, they hang out on their balconies. Employees often will stay and bring their loved ones as well. So it's really an engaging opportunity. We probably get 600 to 700 residents who participate in these events through the summer months. So it's one example of that vibrancy or that engaging with residents. I remember when FODA grew up, some residents approached us and said, we have this beautiful amphitheater. What are you guys going to do about it? So Craig, our executive director, and I talked about, gosh, do we need to get some volunteer groups, reach out to high schools? What should we do? And then out of nowhere, this FODA group came together. They do fundraising to bring the bands in every year as well. So we've been able to figure it out. It's really about getting to yes in our community. And then the second club that I want to highlight with residents is our Learners Club. It's the largest club in our community. There are probably 1,100 of the 2,300 residents that we support in our community who participate in this club. And 3 times a year, they launch a curriculum of classes that are all resident-led classes. So everything from neuroscience to how to use AI in your life to we have a resident who talks about the history and the how Erickson Living came to be as an organization. So it's really cool that residents are passionate about lifelong learning. This is a club that has been in existence since I believe 2007 when we opened. We had a group of residents then who really launched it, and then another group of residents have maintained it. So that empowerment on the resident side is something that, again, I'm really passionate about, but we also support that with employees. We know that as an organization, we're not perfect. And so when employees start with us, we know that as they touch their work, they will have discoveries. They'll have ideas about how we can make things more efficient or create a better process so that we have a better experience for residents. And so again, it's about engaging in listening and listening for what those changes could be that would make a difference, and then navigating the change process together, not just locally, but with our home office as well. And so we've been able to, as a result, make a big impact, not just at Wind Crest, but also across our enterprise, which now has 24 communities across 9 states in the country. I want to touch briefly on our mission, vision, and values. A few years ago, our senior leader team engaged with an outside consultant to create this strategic direction map. And we've found that it's been most helpful in describing what we do. We found along the way that sometimes our business model can be complicated. And so we use this strategic direction map to talk with employees as they're getting started with us, and even with our resident advisory council and small groups of residents in the community as well. So a little bit about our business model. It's predicated on 2 financial components: an entrance fee. On the front end, it's an investment anywhere from a little more than about 280,000 on up to more than $1 million, depending on the square footage, the view corridor, a variety of aspects in our community. So we have a wide array of financial availability. The model was really predicated on making sure that retired school teachers, firefighters could retire comfortably in one of our communities. And I feel like we've accomplished that. The second portion of our financial model is the monthly service package. So the entrance fee helps to support the continued development of not just our campus, but the growth and development of our organization across the country. And the monthly service package really helps to support the operational components at our community. So all the staff really that support the service needs that residents have at Wind Crest. In our strategic direction map, you'll also see up in the right-hand corner our vision statement. Our goal is to be the most trusted and respected leader in senior living. Currently, Erickson Senior Living is the fourth largest senior living community or organization across the country. We're really proud of that. And when we come into a community, we really work to garner the support of the entities that already exist, whether that be schools, because we know that we have to build the infrastructure of the staff that are going to support the needs of residents, or other healthcare organizations, because we know, as comprehensive as the services are at Wind Crest, we know that we don't have a hospice organization, and we need to do some partnering with some other entities along the way. And so our mission statement is that we help people live better lives, really simple, and really the opportunity to help that vibrancy happen on a daily basis when we ask residents what's important to them, when we ask employees what's important to them in our community, and then we see what grows out of those conversations. It's really an amazing thing. In our map, you'll see a bridge in the left-hand corner that goes to our home office. So we are part of a larger organization. I've mentioned this, and a little later, you'll see a map of the locations that we have across the country. But our home office is in Baltimore, Maryland, and we have 24 communities in 9 states, and we're growing. We are growing and developing, working to bring this lifestyle to more and more seniors because we know that it works. And then within our map, all the salmon colored little flags that you see represent our values. And you'll notice with our values that we've added a statement, we value meaningful relationships. We are friendly and enthusiastic. We strive for excellence. We seek out and celebrate diversity. We are accountable. And we added those phrases of we to make sure that employees are able to honor and embody that on a day-over-day basis. It's their investment in being a part of our community at Wind Crest. In the middle of the map, you'll see 3 promises. Our brand promises are to make sure that we're creating a vibrant lifestyle and work environment for residents and teammates. That's really important to us as an organization, and it's important that all of our employees and residents are really doing the active listening that's required to create that vibrancy. The second is to make sure that we're providing financial stability to benefit those who live and work here. If we don't have that financial stability, we know that it's going to prevent us from continuing to grow as an organization and to accomplish really bringing this lifestyle to many more seniors across the country. The last promise is to make sure health and well-being is a priority. One of the ways that we do that with our employees is that we have an employee health and wellness nurse practitioner who is a part of our community. So employees can go to our town center neighborhood if they're not feeling well, or if they've had a workplace injury, or if they just need some advice on something, they're having a tough mental health day. They can seek out our nurse practitioner to find the support that they need. And it's really been beneficial for individuals who might struggle to get in to see their own practitioner. In my case, my doctor is all across Denver. So it's really helpful for me to be able to go to the town center, see the nurse practitioner, and then walk down the hall to CVS Pharmacy and pick up a prescription if I've had an illness event. The way that we live out our brand promises is through 3 things: people, culture, and excellence. So it's one of the ways that we try to simplify the approach. People represents our staff, but also our residents. the residents are the recipients of us doing our brand promises well. The culture component is the outcome of what people experience. In this map, you'll see a lot of different conversation bubbles. Those are the things that we hope that people experience when they come into our community. And so we do resident satisfaction surveys on an annual basis, usually in October, and we do an employee engagement survey in August. That's one of the ways that we garner that feedback along the way to make sure that our brand promises are solid, that we are living our values in the community. But we also encourage people to tell us along the way how we're doing. So we have comment cards for residents where they can do that. We have QR codes in all of our restaurants across campus where residents can provide that feedback on a daily basis as well. I know this map is a lot to take in and look at. Does anyone, I might pause for a second. Does anyone have any questions about anything there? Okay. All right, I'll keep going. So as I mentioned, we are a part of that larger organization called Erickson Senior Living. It was founded in 1983 by John Erickson. John happens to also live at Wind Crest. He finally took the advice of his 4 children. Craig Erickson is our executive director here at Wind Crest. We're blessed to have both of them, the visionary leader that created this amazing organization, and Craig working here. But Craig always jokes that his dad finally took the advice of the 4 children and moved into one of the communities that he always shared the marketing story in. So currently we're serving over 35,000 residents nationwide and 17,000 employees. And at Wind Crest, a little more than 2,300 residents and a little more than 1,000 employees, which is really cool. I sometimes will say to Craig that he's the mayor, and he always says, Kathy, it's not an elected position, which is true. It's not. So we also have a vision. I'm going to stay on this map for a minute of growing a northern site in Westminster. Right before the rest of you joined, Barbara and I were talking about the progress with that. The location is at 104th and Highway 36, right behind the Butterfly Pavilion. It will be about 37 acres of developable land, 1,300 units. And we hope to be opening the sales center toward the end of the 4th quarter 2027 and opening sometime either in 28 or early 29. And then this might be a little hard to see, but I did want to share just the landscape at Wind Crest. Wind Crest opened in 2007, and we are now 19 years old. We'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary next year. As I said, we're serving 2,300 residents. In this map, you'll see that we have 4 distinct neighborhoods. We have 18 independent living buildings here on campus and 2 continuing care buildings. And it was really important for our residents to make sure that we were inclusive of Neighborhood 4. Neighborhood 4 is our continuing care neighborhood. And residents have really been passionate about ensuring that there almost isn't a distinction, that you've been my independent living neighbor all these years, and just because you're in continuing care now doesn't mean you're any less than. You're still a part of our community. And so we need to embrace continuing care as Neighborhood 4 on our campus in our community and make sure that they're invited, included continually in all of those vibrant activities that happen within the community, and that we are intersecting with them. As a for instance, we have a Pride Parade that will be coming up here in June, I think on the 13th, and the parade route will end at continuing care so that residents there can participate in that event. And then I talked about that vibrancy of care delivery and just the comprehensiveness of it. So I'll start with the health and medical components. We do have a medical center in our community with 4 physicians, a physician assistant, and a nurse practitioner on the team. And so residents can literally get their medical needs met here right at Wind Crest. Many communities offer that same service, but it's through a contracted provider. In our case, they are employees of Erickson Senior Living, and so they're a part of our staff, a part of our community. And then as we go around this wheel, we have 44 long-term care and skilled nursing beds in our continuing care. And we have 100 and I have it on the next slide, 36 assisted living and 72 memory care. The memory care units are on the 4th floor of each of the buildings, Mill Vista Lodge and Bowen Landing in our community. Then we have both inpatient and outpatient rehab services. There's PT, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy that residents can intersect with. And then we have 3 employees that work on campus in our community with a Medicare Advantage program called Erickson Advantage. So individuals can opt out of their regular Medicare plan into that insurance plan. And the benefit is that they get 2 clinicians who will follow them through the continuum as their healthcare needs change, and a business partner who will help them navigate those really difficult explanation of benefit forms. What is it that Medicare is really going to pay for? What is it that Health Advantage or Erickson Advantage is going to pay for with this event that has happened for me? A couple of other benefits that come with the Erickson Advantage is transportation to all in-network providers and on-site, as I said, the member services representative and the 2 clinicians. That's been really impactful for residents. And I think we have about 550 residents of our entire population that are participating in Erickson Advantage today. On the resident life side, we have a team of individuals in independent living who really engage with that vibrancy. Everything from resident services who helps them navigate transitions in care along the way. Those individuals aren't necessarily social workers, but they really function as a broker of services in the community. Intermissions is not a licensed day program at Wind Crest, but we took an apartment offline, and we have about 18 to 20 residents who participate in this program as their cognitive changes have happened in the community and they're struggling to navigate Wind Crest. Intermissions provides a structured program where they can come during daytime hours and do some structured programming, engage with other residents. They always go out to lunch at one of the 10 restaurants that we have on campus. Pastoral ministries, because we want to be holistic in our approach and make sure that we are also recognizing the various faith beliefs at Wind Crest and supporting residents getting connected to their faith community, whatever that might be at Wind Crest. Home support is a Class A licensed, but we really only do private duty services and med reminders. So we do have nurses on that team, but we are not a skilled Medicare agency. We still have to have relationships in the marketplace with other home health certified agencies to bring in that piece of things along with the hospice. Fitness, we have 6 different fitness rooms across campus that residents can engage in. Employees also have access to that, and 2 pools on campus. We have a variety of classes that are really well attended as well. I would say we have one of the most active adult communities at Wind Crest. We have a hiking club, we have a biking club, we have a horseshoe pit that people engage in, just so many opportunities at Wind Crest for fitness. Community resources really helps to support all of the clubs at Wind Crest and all the communication platforms that we have to cascade information out to residents. And then philanthropy, we are structured as a nonprofit 501c3 organization. And so at the local level, we partner. Erickson Senior Living is the management company. So each of the senior leaders in our community work for the management company, and it's a for-profit entity. So we have this beautiful marriage of for-profit and not-for-profit coming together in our business model, which is really cool. With our philanthropic efforts, residents primarily focus on 3 funds at Wind Crest. One is a scholars fund. So we hire high school students in our dining program. So if you know anyone who might be looking for a summer job, they could consider working in one of our 10 restaurants at Wind Crest and creating that intergenerational experience. But our residents do a fundraiser. Graduating seniors who stay with us and work 1,000 hours of time are in good standing with both their work performance and school performance. They're eligible for a $10,000 scholarship to pursue the education of their choice, whether that be a community college or a 4-year program. So that's really cool. The second fundraiser residents do is called the Resident Care Fund. So it's designed for individuals who may, because of no fault of their own, no longer have the resources to pay for their care. And so residents raise money, neighbors helping neighbors is what we frame it as, to make sure that no one ever has to leave because of financial need. As a community, we are not a Medicaid community. We've not made that decision yet as to whether or not we will get Medicaid certified in either our skilled nursing or assisted living. And the bridge for us is really the Resident Care Fund and that generosity. The last fundraiser that we do is not tax deductible, but we are a no tipping community. And so at the end of the year, we do a staff appreciation fund. I think last year residents raised $550,000 that we divided up and provided to our hourly staff in the community. So really cool program that happens. And our resident life team, again, really helps to support all that vibrancy that we really want residents to experience throughout our community. I said earlier independent living, but we really want that team to be crossing over into continuing care as well. And then our general services team. In most communities, this team would represent a title called environmental services. And it's everything from hospitality to security and emergency services, custom interiors, transportation and parking, grounds, maintenance, and housekeeping and utilities. A couple that I want to draw out here, security and emergency services. In most communities, when someone pulls a pull cord in their apartment, we're contacting 911 right away. In our case, we have a team of emergency medical responders who are the first responders. They connect with our medical center team, one of the physicians that is on call, and together they make the determination as to whether or not someone needs to be sent out for services. So it's really unique for us in the industry. I personally appreciate that team because they're here 24/7. I always say they're our eyes and ears. They really capture all the events that happen around safety and security for us and really help keep our community safe. Custom Interiors is a team that allows us, for new prospective residents, allows them to make modifications or changes to their apartment as they're moving in. We're doing less and less moving of walls, and it's more about just cabinet upgrades or tile or flooring that individuals may want to do. And the rest, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. Our hospitality includes that gatehouse experience as well as all the front desks across our community. And then in dining services, as I said before, we have 10 independent living restaurants, one restaurant in continuing care that now is offering an array of items, up to 8 or 10, I think it is, items on their menu, as opposed to most communities where you only have 2 choices. And so that's been a big hit in the last year, being able to open that restaurant and continuing care. As residents have transitioned to independent living, from independent living to continuing care, they now can experience the dining, similar dining experience to what they had in independent living. And anyone in continuing care can still go to any of the restaurants on campus. We have a full shuttle program. I forgot transportation in our general services team, but we have a shuttle program both on campus and off campus, a loop, a continuous loop that's happening, an on-call shuttle as well for temporary access, and then an express loop shuttle that happens in the evening during dinner service. In our dining venues, we, as I said, have a variety of culinary team members as well as front of the house staff. We hire those high school students. And one of the other things I love about being at Wind Crest is just getting that intergenerational experience. We just had our Scholars Fund ceremony with 69 graduating seniors this year. And just the stories that each of them have about the experience of being able to connect and be embraced by 2,300 grandparents almost overnight is just really a cool experience at Wind Crest. And then you can see there with dining too, we have a platform where individuals can go onto an application on their phone called My Erickson and see My Nutrition to see what is in each of the menu items in a given restaurant. So, and then I want to transition for a moment to our staff in the community. One of the things that we've embraced as a part of our culture at Erickson is something called One Team. So it is how we lead the organization. Many organizations will have what I call the flavor of the month. They'll have these ideas or leadership concepts that come and go. But for us, leading through One Team has become a part of our fabric. It's a part of the culture, and it's part of what helps to create the vibrancy for both residents and employees in our community. So in this One Team wheel, you'll see that we have 3 components: the foundation, behaviors that we expect, and then the performance. And it really is designed starting with leading yourself first. I have a mirror that I have on my desk as the reminder that everything starts with me. So if we have a challenge in the community, I need to first look at myself. What was my part in that equation? Then, once I am successfully leading myself, then and only then can I reach out and begin to lead the team members around me. And then those 2 combined really set the tone for leading our culture in the community. And so it is something that we measure our employees by on the annual review process. And we have a framework of 7 agreements that we use a lot to help employees come back to that place of leading in a really positive way. Then I wanted to share a little bit about our Resident Advisory Council. We have a 10 to 11 member Resident Advisory Council elected on an annual basis by the residents. So we actually orchestrate an election on campus, and each of the candidates have an opportunity to speak to the residents about their why. Why do I want to engage in being a part of the Resident Advisory Council? For me, the RAC is a way for management and residents to come together. We're operating a business in their home. And so how do we support that active listening, hearing from residents, what's important to them, and then how do we respond and make the right decisions? Right now, we have an astronomy club who is navigating, wanting to put in a, what is it? What do you do in a, I just lost it.
Telescope?
Yes, and to look at the stars. They want to literally put in it's a telescope, but it's also, they have the telescope. They want the building to
Oh,
be able to do it in. What's that called? Anyway, I can't think of it. Just left me. But I don't know if we're going to get to yes on that one because it's a capital improvement project and we'll have to do a site improvement plan with Douglas County. But it's one example of, how creative our residents can get. And really, it's a good challenge to have, right? That residents are that engaged. One of the things that our Resident Advisory Council has done in the last 2 years has put together a resident idea proposal. Their acronym is RIP, which we've said is probably not a good one to use. But RIP has, and here I am using it, has allowed residents to give us insight about what would be important to them in the community. Some of those ideas are capital improvements, some of those are process changes, some of those are small tweaks that we can do to a variety of programs in our community to make their experience even better. It's been very successful. I think last year we had over 100 of those RIPs submitted and we implemented 37 of them. But the beautiful thing is that residents are the gatekeeper. So they take in all the ideas, they make a phone call to the resident who submitted the idea, and it allows residents to feel like whatever their idea was didn't fall into a black hole. And even if it's a no, at least they got a response. So that's been really impactful. And you'll also see that our RAC and coat RAC need to explain that. We have 7 committees of our RAC that function at Wind Crest. And these are the committees. And one of them coming up is going to be an inclusive culture committee. So our diversity, inclusion, and belonging efforts are really strong at Wind Crest. And we're continuing on that path, but we're creating an inclusive culture coat rack to really make sure that we are balancing and listening to the needs of all residents at Wind Crest. I think some individuals feel like we've maybe become a little too left leaning. And so how do we come back a little more to the middle? And one of the highlights of our diversity, inclusion, and belonging efforts that have been at Wind Crest is a program called You Matter, just helping both employees and residents recognize that they make a difference, that we see you, you matter, you're an important part of our community, and what happens at Wind Crest, your voice matters. And that's been really impactful. And then belonging in community is really the outcome. When people feel included, they find their place of belonging. And that's really what we're striving to accomplish for both residents and employees. And then I talked about the importance of communication. Rumor mill maybe didn't make this list, but as you know, that can be a really strong tenet in a community. And so we've developed these 10 different communication channels to really support that vibrancy again in community, helping residents stay connected and to be informed about the things that are happening. We use a similar type of communication platform for our employees as well. In a community of this size, you can imagine that communication might still be one of our greatest challenges. And that's why we've had to be really intentional about how we approach it. And then our My Erickson app is another, it's one of those communication channels, but these are all the different apps within the app that residents can connect to gain or follow all of that information that's happening in the community. And so that really concludes my presentation. I have a brief video, but I don't know that I need to show it unless you all would like to see it. It's really just a synopsis, 6-minute synopsis of everything that I've really just shared with you. So I'm going to stop there and see what questions this might have prompted.
I'll start off. Is there a age requirement? You can't be less than
62. Yeah.
62. Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And is there an average? Do you know the average age of the community?
Average age of the longest residents who have lived in the community is in that 83, 84. New people moving in at 78 to 79. So
It's a good age.
yeah, we have 34 pioneer residents. So individuals who moved in that first year that Wind Crest was open of 2007. So pretty cool. On average, individuals will live with us about 10 years.
And then they leave, or they're moving on, or they've been ill, or
mostly if they have transitioned to continuing care, that could be, but
yeah.
we have a handful of individuals who on an annual basis will move to be closer to family. Usually that's the biggest reason. Maybe they moved here to be close to family, but then the family moves because that's what happens today. Jobs
Right.
are very mobile. And so then the resident will follow again. On occasion, we have had experiences where a person's circumstance, health condition might require them to be in a different setting. So, for instance, someone with Lewy body dementia who has become really aggressive, 36 apartments of memory care may not be the best setting for that individual. And so we look in the marketplace for a smaller, more neighborhood type setting where they can be less stimulated and more successful, as one example.
Rick, as opposed to my reading what you wrote in the chat, why don't you tell the group what you wrote?
And I didn't even notice the chat. Sorry about that.
Well, Rick is another one of our providers and attends all of these webinars and most knowledgeable. Rick, are you there? Maybe he had to leave.
Yeah.
It says, depending on someone's living condition, they may be able to deduct the costs as medical expenses on their tax return. Different scenarios and rules apply, but something to consider. More importantly, how it's funded should be considered when thinking about taxes and future beneficiaries. Rick is a CPA and financial advisor and most knowledgeable.
And I appreciate that comment. We do have a number of residents who will come to our finance office on an annual basis and ask. It's generally a short list, but Rick, I might want to connect with you myself to just explore that a little more and how we can support the right messaging for our residents about what those things are that they can use as the deduction. And Diane, I think you had raised your hand.
Yes, because of a doctor's appointment, I missed the first portion of your presentation. Is there a way I could get your slides that I could catch up?
Yeah, I can send it to Barbara.
Yeah, and we record all of these, Diana, and so it will be on our website usually within the week. And that would be taking it to the beginning of next week. I don't think we have too much editing to do on this one, so it should turn around pretty quickly.
Okay, is that the best way then, rather than being able to
It
just
really is, because then you can hear Kathy.
Yeah, the slide deck alone doesn't really tell the story.
Right, I realize that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Linda. Oops, you are on mute. I don't know if,
May I have an idea of the range of the monthly charges or rentals?
yeah,
Knowing that there's different size units and so on, I'm sure. But what can be that range from lowest to highest?
3,000 on the low end to 4,500. So the
Mm.
smallest apartment, that 280,000 dollar is going to be on that low end of 3,000, might even be 2,800. I need to check in with my finance team and verify
Okay.
because it changes, right? We, like most communities, will have an annual fee increase as well. And we really try to be good stewards. We have an amazing finance team who really challenges us in the community to make sure that we are being good stewards of the resources that residents are providing to us. But 3,000 on the low end, 4,500 second person fee. So we have lots of couples. Probably 60% of the new people moving in are couples. And then once people have aged with us, we drop to, I think it's about 40%. But $1,200 for the second person fee. And so when we do a marketing assessment or a competitive analysis, we find that because we're a fee for service, I forgot to mention that, we're a fee for service model. So the beautiful part of that array of services that's available is you're not paying for it on the front end, you're paying for it as you need it. So you get whatever services you need when you need them. If you don't need housekeeping in your apartment right away, and it's something that you add in later, it's a fee for service.
Mhm. Okay.
In our continuing care, skilled nursing is the most expensive part of our business model, 15,000 a month on
How
average.
much? I missed that.
15,000 a month on average
15.
for
15.
long-term care.
Mhm.
The skilled nursing portion will have a Medicare component for the first 20 days. And then you have up until that 100 days, potentially, that Medicare does a copay after that for the next 80 days. Typically, the average length of stay there is probably about 14 days for skilled nursing. In assisted living, the base rental is around 7,000 for the apartment itself. And then we have service level packages that can start, I think, at 1,500 for the first package, and then could be as high as 7,000 a month. So, and then I was going to offer one other thing, and I forgot what it was, relating to the fee for service. Hopefully it'll come to me.
It sounds like you're moving in to a small town. Having lived in a small town for a while, it sounds like you're very comprehensive in all of the services and community activities. And, in my position here, I've learned how really important those community activities are for independent living, that you don't wind up being isolated in your home. It has a
Correct.
major effect on your health.
Yep.
So congratulations on such a great program and
Thank you.
community.
I'm really proud to be a part of it. I'm so grateful for John Erickson and the vision that he had. Forgot to mention that this all started with a Catholic seminary in Baltimore, Charlestown, one of our first communities that opened. And he took over the seminary and renovated it into a senior living community and just kept adding and building additional independent living units. We also have climate controlled bridges that connect every single building in most of our communities across the enterprise. And so individuals in inclement weather don't even have to go outside. And then with our design plan, we have increasingly we used to just do a clubhouse where all the amenities were in that clubhouse. And now we're embedding the amenities within the residential buildings because our constituents have said, I want to walk down the hall and get to the restaurant, or to go to the activity room where I can do some painting, or whatever it might be. So we've increasingly embedded, which is why we have 10 restaurants on campus. With the 4 neighborhoods, we should really only have 4 large restaurants and 4 cafes. So
Does anyone else have a question? I really want to thank you, Kathy. I thought I knew about Wind Crest, and this was very informative. And when it comes to philanthropy, I have to let those of you that are here know that Wind Crest, Erickson Senior Living in general, is one of our patron sponsors. So they're helping. AgeWise is a nonprofit, as you know, and they are helping us to keep going. So thank you for all your support and all you're doing for the aging community.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to share the story and come for a visit. I'd invite you all to come for a tour.
Great.
Yeah.
I hope you all take Kathy up on that. I may do that soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well,
Put
with
on
that, we'll
walking
say
shoes. Put on walking shoes.
yeah.
Although we do have the shuttle as well, but anyway,
Well,
thanks for
I
joining.
wish you all a very great afternoon. Thank you again, Kathy. Thank you for participating.